explain. Guys, we are here to our right to assembly. We are not here to cause alarm, harassment or distress. We are here purely to film from public land, to film the animals going inside this evil place and to film what's happening and to educate you guys on what this industry does. Please subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top of this live, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan.
We've got some awesome vegans in the chat saying hi. Hello to all you amazing vegans. Thank you so much for being here. Real Meebo said you are on your main channel, by the way. Yeah, Real Meebo, we're just trialing something at the minute. We're just seeing if we can get 2 live streams going. We're going to trial it for this week. If it works, great. But yeah.
Thank you for letting us know that. Just know that anything we do is always down to strategy. We're always trialing stuff. Even though we're getting awesome numbers on our live streams, we're always striving for more because the animals need more. We're never stagnant. So thank you so much for letting us know.
Yeah.
Please let us know if our audio is good, if our signal is good, and anyone who comes in the live stream, if activists, if you can just keep getting them to like the live. We've noticed that the likes on the live stream is what gets the algorithm out so the animals can be seen. Please subscribe at the top to comment 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top to comment 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top to comment 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share and comment. We've got a new security on the gate today. We've never seen them before. I don't think they really know what they're doing. So when a truck comes in, I would presume we'd probably have a bit more time than normal today.
Yeah, this could work to our advantage to get the animals seen today.
Yeah, guys, I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. Behind me, they're killing cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry. Cows from the beef industry are 18 months old when they go to a slaughterhouse to be killed, to be stabbed in the throat. Any animal that you are consuming is a baby. It wouldn't make it right even if they lived their entire life, but they are all little babies. Chickens in the meat industry are called broiler hens. They've been selectively bred to grow so large in such a short space of time that their legs break underneath them. A lot of them die on the floor of these barns because they cannot stand up. Then if they survive 42 days of this evil concentration camp, they get sentenced to a gas chamber to be killed, to suffocate in the pit of absolute evil. For what? Their flesh? They didn't want to die. They didn't want to be born into existence, but they're forced into existence to keep up with demand because you are not vegan yet. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan.
People are asking, why do we harass the slaughterhouse?
Yeah, we're here to protest. We are legally allowed to protest. Anyone who exploits animals, we should fight against them, okay? We are here, we're not harassing, but we are applying pressure as we are legally allowed to do. They deserve to have pressure. They need to be driven out. Animal farmers and slaughterhouse workers and animal experimentations places and horse racing and zoos, they should all be extinct. They do not belong on this earth. I remember what I was going to say now about the animal experimentations. The reason why they use beagle puppies to experiment on is because beagle puppies are forgiving. They use their love and kindness and their gentle nature against them. They even train them to give the paw out for all sorts of experimentations. Then they literally put a tube down their mouth, they'll put bleach down their throat until they die. They suffocate in these experimentations. In the UK, by the way, please subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. Keep liking this live stream. Ask questions because we are not here to hate on you. We're here to defend animals who are being exploited by you if you are not vegan. Being vegan just means you are somebody who is against the exploitation of animals. Okay, it's not your fault that you don't know this happens. The industry do not want you to know. This is just a disgusting, corrupt business. This isn't the food system. This isn't what you need to consume. This isn't what we need to do as humans. This is a corrupt business that has lied to you. They're saying you need cow's milk for calcium. They say you need meat for protein. You don't. That all comes from plants. They're just lying to you. Please subscribe at the top, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you are open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, keep like, sharing and commenting.
Aquatic is basically asking, what about untouched tribes where they hunt for survival? What about them?
They can just get plants. They can eat berries and things. In fact, a lot of people who actually were in survival situations, like a lot of people like to talk about cavemen, they actually, majority of the time, ate plants. And then if they could find like an injured animal that they would kill, they would then kill and then eat that, which is disgusting and horrible. But people often think that we need to do it. You don't need to do it. And even if you did, humans, when humans crashed in the Andes, they ate other humans. Are you now going to take a gun and shoot every human in the cities and things because they did it in the Andes? No, you don't use excuses to oppress animals. You find reasons not to. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, comment and subscribe. Did you know that every single cow in the dairy industry has pregnancy forced upon them? Did you know that all cows get killed inside of a slaughterhouse because you drink their breast milk? I didn't know that. I didn't know that, so it's not your fault that you don't know. I used to pay for these places. Rips me apart that the fact that I existed means that animals were exploited for me personally, but I didn't know. You can't change something if you don't even know what you're paying for. Go to the link in our description and watch Dominion on YouTube to see the reality. Go and watch Pignorant. Pignorant will show you how corrupt places like the RSPCA Assured logo is, Red Tractor, Certify Standards. We've investigated award-winning farms, and I stay up at night thinking about the horrific scenes I've seen in there. There is no right way to exploit someone. There's no right way to have slaves and commodify someone else who has a central brain, a nervous system, and can feel pain.
Someone called Silly put, you need vitamins that are only found in meat. Meat is needed that we have it. It's not cruelty, it's just how it works.
No, it's absolute cruelty, violence, torture, murder, kidnap, rape, okay? It's mutilations, it's blending them up alive for something we don't need. All of our nutrients come from plants. I'm not saying that you're silly for not knowing this. The industry want you to think how you think right now. All of our nutrients come from plants. If you're not sure, tell me what you think you can't get from plant-based, because everything you can survive, all the nutrients come from plants in the first place. What you're doing is you're basically consuming the animal who ate the plants, who got the nutrients from the plants. You're getting the nutrients secondhand from them. Please subscribe at the top, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. I'm here not for my own benefit. I'm here to defend animals who are being killed inside this evil place. They are being killed inside this place right now as we speak behind me. There is violence happening in there to sweet animals who didn't do anything wrong. Their only crime was born into a different body that looks different to yours. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. I speak with fury and passion because the animals need me to. I'm not speaking with fury and negativity against you. I'm here to help guide you and show you the reality. Animals behind me are being killed. It's breaking my heart. It rips my heart out. People don't even know. Good people are paying for this. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you are a vegan who is against the exploitation of animals. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're someone who's just open-minded but you just don't know the industry but you're not vegan yet. And subscribe at the top and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Anti-vegan is someone who likes animal abuse, exploitation, mutilation. They'd be happy if dogs and cats were killed, donkeys and dolphins. When people say we need meat, it's purely because you're a product of your environment. You've been a product of an environment that's taught you that that's what you need when you don't. Okay, when you talk of meat, you don't even say the animal's name. You just say meat. I can say, yeah, you need meat from humans. Or you need meat from dolphins. What about if you killed your dog and ate them? And then you would say, no, that's different. They're humans, they're companion animals, but there's no difference. They only look different on the outside, okay? They pour the same color blood as you do on the inside. You would scream just like they scream for their lives here. If you were taken from a concentration camp and sentenced to a gas chamber or a slaughterhouse or electrical bath where you get electrocuted and have your throat slit and your head decapitated, you would scream for your life as well. I'm here trying to defend those animals who are being oppressed by you right now if you're not vegan. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment and subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely, well said. And listen, I want to make another point of saying that we're not here to clash with non-vegans. We were non-vegan once before, but we didn't know the truth. and the industry tries so hard to keep that truth from you, the consumers, and this is why we try so hard to get it out to you. What do we need to do to tell you the animal side of the story? We need to show you them. We get a camera, we get a live stream, and we show you them live. What did the industry need to do? They pay millions and millions, in fact, billions of pounds to keep the indoctrination and the lies going. They have specific marketing teams that are consistently out there to keep people indoctrinated into not thinking about this. Why do you think that everyone thinks that they're baby cows? Why are we all drinking breast milk from another species? Would you drink rat milk, or would you think that rat milk was disgusting? Because rat milk and cow's milk is exactly the same. Both milk from mammals that have produced breast milk intended for their babies, yet we've been indoctrinated to believe that cow's milk, for some reason, is good for us. It's absolutely crazy how thick that indoctrination and conditioning can run in some people till they actually do genuinely really believe it. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the live stream, share on your socials. Please, let's get the animals seen. I want you all to go into the 3 dots in the top right hand corner of this live stream. There's a Linktree link there. Click on that Linktree link, or copy and paste it and put it in your browser. Now, at the top of that is Dominion. That's the first documentary that you need to watch. Go and see that documentary from start to finish. Once you've seen that one, the second one on that link is Pignorant. Go and watch Pignorant. Watch that start to finish. By the time you've watched them 2 documentaries, 2 hours of your life, you will be absolutely educated on the majority of the injustices that happen to animals. At the bottom of that Linktree link, there is a how to go vegan or a help to go vegan section. Click on that help to go vegan section, because by the time you've watched them 2 documentaries, every single one of you will want to go vegan. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you've already done that. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you are not vegan yet, but you are a kind person and you're wondering why we're here today.
Just
subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan.
Shout out to all the activists in the chat right now. We've got AXA, we've got so many people in here, vegan Christianity, people saying they haven't eaten animal products for so long, you can be healthy. Why do you think people think they can't be healthy being vegan?
Because the system is deceptive by design. You're told it. You're told that the only way for you to optimize your health and be fit and healthy is to exploit animals. And this is why the humane BS comes out of there. Because if you were told you had to exploit animals and it was horrific, people would still second guess it, even if it was more optimal for their health. But the good thing is that it's optimal for your health not to exploit animals. So both things should align with you. You'll be healthier, fitter and happier, and guess what? You no longer are personally responsible for animals being exploited and murdered. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations, and subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan.
Aquatic put question, would you kill another human who was about to kill a cow? Would you watch on the side, just speak to them, or would you act?
Would I kill a human who was about to kill a cow, or would I stand on the side and act? Why you give, first of all, what does your scenario have to do with anything to do with veganism? That's like me saying, if a person of color was about to kill a white person, would you kill the person of color, or would you just stand there and watch? It's a scenario that's completely made up, but it has nothing to do with racism or someone's color. The same as your scenario has got nothing to do with the ethics of exploiting animals. You're trying to make up these scenarios to, I don't know, justify and defend the continuing exploitation of animals. It's like a lot of people say, if you run into a building that was on fire, would you grab your nan, or would you grab the dog? But what if you could grab both of them? Because in this situation, that's what this situation is. People are so triggered. Do you know what it is? It's like, you see like middle-aged men in suits coming at it, jumping up and down like toddlers who've had their toys taken away.
I know.
It's really sad. It's really I feel embarrassed for them when they can't control their emotions like that. That's a number 3, by the way. That's an anti-vegan. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you are vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan, like people beeping their horns. We are outside of a slaughterhouse here. This really is a serious matter, and this is why we're here. Because there are victims inside the building behind us who are going to be faced with a knife today. These individuals will be faced with a person with a big apron, some wellies on, a hairnet, and a huge knife. And for that individual, they will be murdered. Imagine today if someone kicked you and dragged you inside of a room, and you met your murderer inside that room, and you were stabbed to death. And someone said they're going to do that to you for cheese. This is a situation, this is what you're defending when you're defending being cruel and violent and exploitative to animals. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the stream.
We got Rational Madam put, I'm 2.5, I am for ethical farming.
No such thing as ethical farming.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
there could be ethical farming. There could be ethical farming of arable crops. At the moment, crop farming's not perfect, but it could be. But the trouble is we don't have organic farming systems because farmers aren't vegan. How can you convince farmers to do vertical farming or ethical organic farming when we can't convince farmers to start forcing animals to be pregnant, stealing their babies and sending them to slaughterhouses? There is no right way to do the wrong thing.
We got Chelsea comparing apples with pears. They think that comparing humans with animals is stupid.
Why? That's a superiority complex. That's like saying comparing people with blonde hair is different to comparing people with brown hair.
Yeah.
People with brown hair and people with blonde hair are different. So therefore we'll treat people with blonde hair different to we do treat people with brown hair. Comparing animals to humans isn't different. We're seeing what is similar. In fact, humans a lot of the time try and pick out the smallest indifferences as reasons to continue to exploit. Rather than, if you want to actually just stop and look at it honestly for a second, hang on a minute, all these animals that are exploited for optional products, they have emotions, they have families, they have the ability to suffer, they show like fear. Now, that's the same as what we have. So why don't we just look at the blindingly obvious things that we have in similarity with these animals and use that as a focus to stop exploiting them, rather than trying to pick out a small fact that they've got a beak and not a nose, therefore gas chamber. It's crazy to me that people would try and defend hurting animals. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan already. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're a kind person and you listen to what we're saying, subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the streams.
Yeah, Chelsea, it's a form of racism. Your mindset of that is that of Hitler. They put hair colour, still a human, but your avocado kills millions of insects. Wow.
Okay, so let's address speciesism. Speciesism is a form of racism, exactly what Mel's just said. Racism is oppression due to skin color. Speciesism is oppression due to the way that you look. If you're against being racist, then you should be against being speciesist, because it's the exact same injustice. You're oppressing a minority group based on the way that they look. And if you're against it for one, you should be consistently against it for other. How can you be non-vegan but anti-racist?
Yeah.
Because you're being racist towards animals. It's completely consistent and logical. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you're no longer speciesist towards animals. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to why we're here today. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the live stream, like, share and subscribe. We're here today not to clash with you. We may be saying things that conflict with what you're saying and it may feel antagonistic and hard to hear. That's because the reality and the truth often is hard to hear. But we're here today to deliver it for the animals, because they're the ones behind us, behind that gate, dying. I can smell, I can hear, and I can feel the death in the air behind me. Have you got a question?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely horrific. What turned you vegan?
The dairy industry turned us vegan because we saw what happened inside of the slaughterhouse. And if you want to see the same footage, then you go into the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, you click on the Linktree link, and you go into the link at the top that says Dominion. Watch that documentary and see the reality for yourself. The industry have tried so hard to keep this truth from you. Surely you're intrigued enough to know what that truth is. They don't even just tell you like the transparency of it. They lie. They lie. They replace the truth with lies. So the consumer is never given a chance to do the right thing because you're never told the truth in the first place. And then them lies are passed down, passed down, passed down. Just like Father Christmas, just like the Tooth Fairy, just like the Easter Bunny. But in this lie, there is a very real victim, and it's the animals inside slaughterhouses who are having their bodily autonomy taken and having their right to life violated.
Maybe we'll address this because loads of people are asking about plants and crop deaths. What would you say to that?
Yeah, no, fair point. And I just did go over it, but we'll go over it again. So first of all, plants are alive, but they're not sentient. Sentient means you have a brain and a central nervous system, and you have the ability to feel pain and suffer. Plants don't. That's just scientific fact. If you believe that plants feel pain, we could steel man your argument, and we could say that you believe that mowing the lawn is an absolute horrific holocaust in that case. If you don't believe that, and you don't believe plants feel pain, that they're alive, then fine. Second of all, you're looking at crop deaths. 90 billion land animals alone are bred into existence every year, and they're fed crops. So if you're consistent and you're worried about crop deaths across the board, then be vegan, because the 90 billion land animals that go to slaughterhouses, the blood's on your hand. And all the animals who were killed to farm the crops to feed them, their blood is on your hand. Become vegan and you remove all of your support for that violence. Yeah, we don't have organic farming because we don't have organic farmers. When vegans do farm crops, then we'll do it in a veganic way that doesn't cause any harm. Let's swap over.
Support. We're getting a lot of support from the drivers today. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat. If you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet, subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat. If you're anti-vegan, double tap this live stream, like, share, and comment. There's some people saying you're forcing religion down my throat. This isn't a religion. Do you also think people fighting in the military against like bad people in the war are forcing religion down your throat? No, they're trying to stop individuals from killing individuals. We're trying to stop individuals from killing individuals who are animals who just look different to us. By the way, we are animals. So if anyone's in this live chat thinking, oh, they're human, we're human, they're animals, we can kill them, doesn't justify it. We are all animals, it's just that we're different forms. So that's why we're saying it's racism to be pro-animal exploitation. It's speciesism. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And subscribe at the top to comment in here.
Say again?
What's
sorry. Woof Woof has put here, without the farms to grow livestock, they're not livestock, they're individuals, they would all die in the wild. So without farms, they would die for nothing, but in farms, they die for food.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Unfortunately, you are indoctrinated by the industry itself. So they've mugged you off to think this. That's not your fault. So I'm not saying that you're silly for that. That's what they've led you to believe. These animals are not wild or natural animals. These animals are forced into existence to keep up with demand. 90 billion to 2 trillion animals every single year forced into existence because people are paying for things like milk, eggs, dairy, fish, leather, wool. In fact, why do we have to get them in such big barns? And why do we have to farm animals by the billions in small areas? Because the land on Earth isn't big enough to sustain that, because we shouldn't be doing it, okay? So these animals, they're not here. They wouldn't be like in the wild trying to survive because they're not wild animals, they're man-made animals. In fact, animal agriculture is the leading cause of animal extinction in the wild. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. We've investigated places like we said before. You can see the video on our main channel, it's Melon Steve, the purple icon on that channel. We took a non-vegan undercover inside of a pig farm. Did you know that piglets that don't grow fast enough in the eyes of the animal farmer, they'll pick them up by their back legs and they'll smash their head on the floor. It's called knocking or thumping in some cases. Did you know that when they're born, they cut their tails off, they grind their teeth down so they cannot eat the flesh of anyone else because they're trying to savor their flesh so they can sell their flesh to you? Because when they're born in such captivity and such close proximity, they start cannibalizing each other. They literally go mental in these places. Pigs are so intelligent. That doesn't determine whether someone should be killed or not though. But did you know that pigs, when they give birth to their babies in the wild, like natural pigs, they would go and find flowers to put in the area where their babies are purely for aesthetic reasons.
The Moss Man says you should only eat what you're able to kill yourself.
Yeah, and the only thing that I can kill is plants. So and anyone, if you can kill someone like a human, do you think then it's justified to then cut up humans and sell them in Tesco's? Because if some psychopath can do it, that's what this started from. It started from a psychopath killing animals, then thinking that they can make money off it, but knowing that people would not want to kill animals themselves. So what they'll do is that they'll package it nicely and say things like, these animals lived a great life, and then they'll sell that to you and take your money. They're mugging you off. They're mugging you off. You don't need to do this. There is zero necessity to eat animals, wear animals, use animals, experiment on animals, commodify animals, put animals in prisons such as zoos. There's no justification for this. Please subscribe at the top, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. I'm outside a slaughterhouse right now. They're killing cows from the dairy industry behind me. They're stabbing them in the throat behind me. Did you know that cows only produce milk for their babies? They're not... Was there a question, sorry?
Interesting comment here from a super thanks. Someone's put end world hunger or feed a starving kid a burger.
End world hunger?
You can end world hunger if you stop stabbing animals to death and rewilded all that land.
Oh, yeah, is that what they're trying to say? Yeah. So we could feed the world 3+ times over if we abolished animal agriculture. Animal agriculture is the reason why people don't have food in those countries. Okay, so we're not here about any like environmental issue or anything to do with anything else other than the animals, but the benefit of you going vegan, if the world goes vegan, humans literally then have abundance of food. They're currently taking the crops that are grown in these third world countries, transporting them on ships to places, the richer countries, to feed animals, to then kill them for a tiny % of calories that you even need. I can't believe I'm even talking about calories from other individuals. That's disgusting. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share and comment. We are not here to hate on you. We're here just to educate and show you the truth that the industry don't want you to see. Trucks will be turning up today. We've been out here for the past year, every single week. We know the pattern, we understand, we've seen and heard the cries of these individuals ourselves.
The Moss man said they put a bolt through their head, not stab them in the neck.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. A bolt in their head. Oh, lovely. What a lovely person. No, you've been indoctrinated to believe the stunning process is for the animals, but it's not. It's for the humans who are there with knives. It's to protect the humans. So when animals are faced with such violence, they try and fight for their life. Okay, why do you think they have cattle grids here? Because they know animals trying to escape this place because they're so fearful, they're trying to save their life. Okay, the bolt gun gets pushed into, forced into their skull, it makes them go to the floor, but they can still feel everything. They then get hung up and have their neck sliced open, decapitated. There is no right way to kill someone who doesn't want to die, even if they tickled them to sleep. It's not okay.
Wolfworth thinks that the bolt makes them, the animals dead immediately.
No, it doesn't. That's the stunning, okay? Just like they say the gas chambers. Oh, pigs just fall asleep in gas chambers. That's what they told the public. Joey Carstrom put cameras in there. They are fighting and screaming for their lives. They literally burn from the inside out inside these gas chambers. We hear their cries. We listen to them screaming for mercy. In fact, pigs have even been known to dismember their own limbs to try and evade the gas chamber. It's torturous. And then what happens? They get pulled out the bottom, stabbed in the throat, get pulled along to a scalding tank where they're in that scalding tank, boiling water, alive, thrashing around. They're being boiled alive, burned alive for what? A sandwich that you don't even need.
Sam gave us a super thanks and put, it's indoctrination until it's something that you like. Indoctrination is indoctrination.
Yeah, indoctrination is indoctrination. Just because you may not like what I'm saying to try and blind yourself, you're basically doing the industry a favor because they want you to blind yourself from their words so that they get your money. Indoctrination is lies and it's conditioning. We're just telling you the truth. Why else would I be at a slaughterhouse breaking my heart every time? Why else would I be here trying to defend animals? I don't need to lie, but they need to lie to you, and you're falling for it if you're not vegan. Go to the link in the description, watch Dominion for yourself, and see the reality